Draw the lines. Y'all scream for chaos and our law and order fools, while truth hides in the corner, breaking all the rules. From another evil universe, illogical and wild, irrational, unrealistic, like a brainwashed child. Look at these woke weirdos, strange as they come, marching for no king's rallies and freeing Maduro dumb. He's a dictator crushing folks, but y'all cheer his name. Hypocrisy central, playing the same old game. Gays for Hamas, honey, that's a killer twist. They toss you off a roof, but you're on their list. Screaming about equality while bagging the hate from parallel evil worlds, sealing your fate. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this protest's a total no-go. Woke weirdos wailing in the snow, what a damn joke, bro. Banging pots and pans like toddlers throwing fits, while law and order laughs at your hypocrite bits. Upside down flags, frog suits, lawn chairs in the street. Y'all call this resistance? Nah, it's elite retreat. Waste of time, waste of air, waste of everybody's day. Go home, snowflakes, truth's not your way. Inflatable frog costumes, that's your master plan. Portland's parade of freaks, looking like a bad fan. Shining lights in windows, keeping agents up all night. Trying to play hero, but you're just a sad sight. Aztec dancers twirling giant birds on parade. Puppets in the rain, man, y'all got it made. Non-binary noisemakers with whistles and horns, honking like geese, showing off your thorns. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this protest's a total no-go. Blue-haired banshees in the snow, putting on a clown show. Then crying oppression, grow up already, that's just regression. Gays for Hamas, no kings, then dictator love. Your logic's from hell, pushing shove after shove. Waste of time, waste of tears, waste of taxpayer cash. Abolish eyes, now abolish your trash. Comes along, overweight activists jumping on cars, megaphones blaring, queer folks dancing the taser, their safe spaces scaring back in Venezuelan thugs and molesters galore, pretending you're saints, what a hypocritical bore. Over 1,000 events, what a massive waste. Tiny towns full of trust fund kids, all red-faced. Soros scripts in pocket, following the herd, chanting ice must go like it's a magic word. Ignoring the criminals, the rapists they cage, while y'all rage irrational, turning the page from evil parallel realms where truth's locked away. Unrealistic dreams in your woke display. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this protest's a total no-go. Woke widows, blue hairs, freaks in the snow go. Banging pots, blowing whistles, honking like fools, while law and order enforces the rules. Frog suits, lawn chairs, upside down rags in the breeze. Your whole damn movement's a disease. Waste of time, waste of life, waste of everybody's night. Get a real job, dipsticks, or just fade from sight. freedom they hate, backing dictators while sealing our fate. No kings one day, then free Maduro the next. Your brains must be twisted, completely perplexed. Gays cheering Hamas where they meet their end. Illogical love for the enemy friend. Strange woke warriors from universes askew. Truth has no home. It's banished from you. So here's to you and our law and order crew. Keep wasting your weekends, we've got better to do. Your absurdity's epic, your hypocrisy grand. 6 minutes of sass, now disband. Stay woke, weirdos, or better yet, wake up for real. Law and order prevails, that's the deal.
All right, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. Hello, everybody. This is the Sunday night edition of the show. I hope everybody's having a good night out there and getting ready for the work day to start, work week to start back up. I got to tell you, these weekends go so fast. The busier I get, the more I pile on the weekends and try to get done. Yeah, I settled on this for my opener. I love this this particular piece of music. Yeah, so there we go. There you go. Yeah, it's cold across the country. We had the cold front come through here later or earlier today, probably about 6 or 7 hours ago. And yeah, where you can feel the air mass has changed out there. It's a little cooler, a little drier. We're not going to get it near as bad as you guys up north. All right, so what are we watching? Well, we've got above me. This was earlier in Portland. Above that, Fox Raw. In the middle, these guys are tracking down Guthrie stuff, and they're out there. They were just in front of her house doing something a minute ago, but they're out there driving around out there trying to get in trouble. Upper right, it's a blizzard cam, a live cam out watching the snow pile up, and then down in the big window from Portland Andy, this is what he's got coming in. And it's, I don't know what's going on here because it looks to me like, hell, I don't know. I don't know what, there was a fire or something here. I don't know. I don't know what happened. We're trying to figure this out, so I don't know. All right, so there we go. That's what we've got. We're going to be watching this, all these different screens. We're going to go through the news. Yes, New Jersey state of emergency. Um, yeah, please hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Yeah, they're in front of Guthrie's house in that middle one. That's what that is. All right. We're gonna go through all this stuff. We're gonna be tackling the news. There's. Do you guys realize that today there's not a single sunspot on the sun? 4374 is just crossing over the eastern limb, or the western limb, whatever. It's backwards. Anyway, so 4374 is just about to cross over the corner of the sun there. When that happens, it will be the first spotless day in 4 years. That's correct. It's the first spotless day in 4 years. And that's showing us that we are probably over the solar maximum and we are starting to cruise our way towards the solar minimum now. Spotless days are a key indicator of solar cycle. During years around solar minimums, whole months can be seen without a single sunspot. However, during the solar max, which is where we're basically at right now. Sorry, I'm still working on getting everything put back. During the solar max, it's rare to see a day without a sunspot. Today's blank sun doesn't mean we're in solar minimum. It just means that we're starting to see a winding down of the solar maximum. All right. Yep. Hey, dehydrated water dispatch. What is it? Is it Brent? Hey, Brent. What's up, buddy? Victor. Hey, Heath. Neighbor. D's. Welcome in, everybody. I'm glad you guys are all here. And yeah, we're going to be covering quite a bit of news tonight. There we go. All right, so that's what we're doing. So I just wanted to mention that right off the bat. I'm also going to talk tonight about 3 or 4 other news stories that are going on. We're going to update on the Guthrie case. There's not really a lot going on there, but I will update on that. And we're going to be looking for whatever else is going on in the news. We're also going to talk about 3 Mile Island, which is an interesting thing, and we'll get back to that here in just a few minutes. I wanted to talk first about something that happened last night, and I wanted to put a little perspective on it because I had somebody come in and make a negative comment, and I always like to address those directly. And so that's what I'm doing. But I just want you guys to understand something. I'm retired fire chief. I'm a former law enforcement officer. I've also done a lot of different jobs in my life. Everything from driving a wrecker to driving a taxi cab. You can name it. I've done it. I've worked in the media now for 14 years. And I've done just a little bit of everything in my adult life. I started very young in life, joining the fire department when I was only 17. And joining the sheriff's department as an explorer scout when I was 15. So I got a very early start. And I've reached a point in my life where there's just certain types of disrespect that I don't tolerate anymore. That doesn't mean I go fisticuffs or fight. I'm not that kind of guy. It's not my MO. But I do take care of it. And we had a situation at the parade. You can go back and watch it. It's the first of the 3 videos. We set up. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours complete for the setup and the walk down and everything. We get all set up and the broadcast is going and everything's going great. And this cop that's been sitting right there watching us set up, and we even said hi to each other at one point earlier in the night. She saw us setting up there. At some point, she just decides to move her car, and she pulls the front of her car as close as she can, right almost up to the curb, and she puts her lights directly on my cameras and my broadcast, and turns on every light that cop car has, which is totally unnecessary. She's on a road that is blocked on both ends. She didn't even need to have her emergency lights on. She should have just had her patrol lights on, which is just the steady burning lights. Anyway, that's what many of the other cops just had their patrol lights on, and not the emergency lights. But this woman had all of her emergency lights on. All four of her high beam headlights flashing back and forth right in my face. Her takedown lights flashing right in my face. Washing out one of my two cameras almost completely. And so I'm like, okay, well, it's no big deal. So I walk over and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And she rolls down the window and she just looks at me. She doesn't even say anything. And I said, "Hey, can you do me a favor and either just turn off the white takedown lights and the white headlights and just leave on the red and blue lights? Or could you just move your car about 6 or 8 degrees in either direction? That's all I need you to do, because you're really disrupting my broadcast." And I said, also, all those people that have set their chairs up there now, your lights are shining directly in their eyes. And I'm pointing at them, and they're all like this. And it should have been very obvious to this woman that she was, this female police officer, that she was blinding people with her lights, and that she was being very inconsiderate because her lights were not even necessary where she was sitting. Because again, the road was completely blocked by barricades, by physical barricades, both next to her car and also on the other end of the road. So there was no way traffic could even get into this road. It backs up the old federal building. There's nothing back there. There's no vehicles, nobody moving around back there. So there was no reason to have her lights on at all. But her patrol lights would have sufficed. Anyway, being a former law enforcement officer, and also being someone who is very much into police lighting. In fact, I bought a light bar last weekend at the Ham Fest, and I also bought a bunch of other cool lights too. And yeah, we'll get into that later. Anyway, the point is I'm very familiar with these lights, and she could have just flipped 2 switches off and made everybody happy. She wasn't willing to do it. She was having a bad night. Apparently, she had been told to move her car 3 or 4 times, and she was aggravated. She's making $80 an hour, but she's aggravated because she had to do something or whatever. And so I was being very nice to her. I said, "Ma'am, can you please just move the car a little bit one way or the other, so that the lights are not directly in my cameras and directly in my eyes and directly in the line of all these people sitting here to watch the parade." I said, "Can't you just back up a little bit and move the front end over a little bit?" "No." "Well, can you turn the white takedown lights and the white flashing headlights off?" "No, they're required." And I'm like, that's unreasonable. And if you're not going to accommodate me here, I'm going to call your supervisor. And she says, "I don't care." And she rolled the window up while we were talking. And I'm like, wow, what a bitch. There's just no reason to treat the public like that. She's a civil servant. She's a public servant. She should be nice to the public. She should work to facilitate the public having a good night. Wouldn't you think? There's no crimes being committed. There's nothing going on. So she could easily just went ahead and used what ability she had there to make sure that everybody was having a good night by not having the lights flashing right in 40 people's face, and by not disrupting a broadcast where people are trying to watch from home, and by not blinding someone who's doing the broadcast. And so, yeah, it was one of those things. And she was just nasty about it. And as you guys saw, I walked back over and I got on the phone and called for a supervisor. And the supervisor arrived right away. He was a little argumentative with me, but immediately did say he would turn the lights down, you know. And I told him that if he just turns the lights down, I won't file a complaint on her for being nasty and not turning the lights down when I, went over and made a request. I don't know. The sergeant did not like the comment I made to him, but that's okay. Because I do believe it. I used to be a cop, okay? Cops earn the hate they get. Not all of it. Not all of it. Sometimes people hate the system, they hate the laws, they hate the way the lawmakers make the laws. They hate the fact that the cops pulled them over because they were speeding or whatever. Well, none of that's the cop's fault. But a lot of it, when it comes to getting along with the public, when it comes to facilitating the public, enjoying the downtown area of your city, when it comes to the biggest event in your city this year, and you would think you would just do whatever you could to help people out, right? To be a good public servant, to say, hey, look, I don't need these lights on. There's no traffic here. We got barricades up against my car. Why do I need these lights on? Or I'll just move my car this way a little bit, or I'll move it down the road a few feet. I mean, really or just turn off the white lights. I mean, there was so many ways to make it better. There was so many easy ways to make it better. And that's the bottom line. But cops have egos now, and these egos are huge. They're the size of blimps. And she was not going to do what I asked. Even despite how nice I was being, despite her watching me set up my whole broadcast for 2 hours, despite everything, she was just not willing to accommodate me. Well, the sergeant arrived and he immediately saw, wow, okay, yeah, there doesn't need to be all those lights on. And he walked over to her car after he spoke to me, and he switched the lights down to the patrol lights, which is what it should have been all along. And that's the way it should be, you know? So, bad on the cop, and I don't have her name, and I don't care, because I did agree that if they would just turn the lights down, I wouldn't file a complaint, because although she was rude and nasty and uncooperative with the public, I don't think it rises to a formal complaint, but it was sure close, and I did tell her sergeant about her antics. And of course, it's on live on the broadcast what happened, and now a recap on a second broadcast. So there you go. Hey, come on in, Comics and Robots. How you doing tonight? I'm recapping an incident that we had. And it's funny because my mom, she called me up this morning and she said, were you in trouble with the cops last night? And I said, no, the cops were in trouble with me. And she goes, okay, that's what I figured. Yeah. I mean, I called. The sergeant was there in 3 minutes. So I'm going to give the sergeant an A on how he handled it. He was a little condescending to me, but I can tolerate that. That's okay, because I was being a little gruff with him. So I'll let that slide. Her attitude was terrible. So she gets an F. The sergeant gets an A minus. I'll give him an A minus. He did the whole, are you going to let me talk? One of the things that cops are doing now is they will interrupt everything you say. And the moment you interrupt them, it's going to be like, are you going to let me talk? And I'm like, wait, And so I immediately said, nope, you've got the floor. Go ahead. Because that's something cops do, because it makes it appear that you're being uncooperative. That's the whole idea. Anyway. Well, there you go, Comics and Robots. Well, welcome aboard. Hang out for a while. Let's see here. There's there's not a lot going on tonight, but we're going to go around and talk about all of it. Anyway, so basically, it was over. It was no big deal. And maybe she'll be a little nicer next time, hopefully. Maybe she'll be like, hey, years ago, there was a course that was taught, I think it was by McDonald's Corporation. And it was a training film that was called Just Give 'Em the Pickle. That's what it was called. Just give 'em the pickle. And this is something that we've forgotten about over the years, especially police, and to a lesser degree, government workers in general. But this is, and even McDonald's workers, this is something we've forgot. Just give 'em the pickle. What difference does it make? Did she need to have those lights on? Or was she just having an ego trip? Well, of course, it was an ego trip. So just give me the pickle. I'm the public. She could have flipped 2 switches. The problem would have been over. She could have went click, click. I'm happy. She's happy. The sergeant doesn't get bothered. The dispatcher doesn't get bothered. Everything's fine. You see what I mean? Just give them the pickle. And it goes back to, in the fast food industry, someone says, hey, can I get some extra pickles on my burger? And rather than haggling with them about, well, we can't give you extra pickles, or rather than saying, I'm going to charge you 50 cents for the pickles or whatever, just give them the damn pickles. It's not worth losing a customer. It's not worth the bad blood. It's not worth other customers hearing it. You go, I'm not giving you a pickle. Corporate headquarters says no pickles for you, you son of... And why? Just give them the pickle. There was no reason to put me through that last night. But see, customer service is not something that our government cares about. Because of all the businesses in the world, the government is the only business that fails day after day and stays in business. Therefore, they don't need to have customer service. When you walk into zoning and planning and no one's at the counter and it takes 50 minutes, when you walk in to get your permits and nobody will give you a straight answer, there's nobody to talk to, take a number, sit for 2 hours. When I go to pay my tag and I have to sign up 2 weeks in advance, and then when I go to the time I signed up for, I have to wait 2 more hours, and the woman's picture's on the wall that says 5-star service, Lee County tax collector. Our government has lost track of the fact that we're the boss. We pay the bills. We're the ones that put the money in to pay for that pretty police car and those bright-ass lights. We're the ones that pay for the uniform, and we're the ones that pay for the, sitting in the car wearing it. These people are paid by us to serve us. That doesn't mean they have to do things outside their realm. They don't have to go get us coffee. But they do have to be nice. They do have to be cordial. And they do have to try to accommodate us whenever possible. I think I discussed this on the show, Fort Myers Police Department, about 2 months ago. I've got this on video 2 months ago. I'm going to work. I go to pull in my work, and they're blocking the only entrance to my work. I realize across the street there's 5 or 6 other guys I work with. We're on radio. We're on TV. Everything is time specific, down to the second. We have to be there. So I drive down, and I can't get in. And so I'm sitting there in the road with my flashers on. And I'm like, what are we doing, And so I finally yelled over there. I'm like, can you guys clear the road, clear the employee gate so we can get in? And they just started laughing, and they went back to talking. The person they were interrogating was up against the fence, down a ways. Not anywhere near our gate. But the 7 backup units that came there to stand around and talk about whatever they stand around and talk. I used to be a cop. I know how it is. Being a police officer is 10% police work and 90% standing around and talking about police work. That's what being a cop is. And there was 7 cars there. There was 7 cops standing right in front of my entrance gate having a little powwow or piggy party or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, what are they doing? And so finally, I pulled up a second time and I started saying, look, if you guys don't move, I'm going to call your supervisor. This is ridiculous. We work here. We need to get to work. There's nowhere to park out here. Okay? You can't park off property down there. So we have to go into our work. And so finally they reluctantly, and they made a big deal about it. Like, oh, geez, here we go. We got to move our cars. Oh my God. And they're throwing hands and and so they move just enough cars that we can get in. And so we all get in and we all park. And I walked down there with my phone recording. And I walked up to the end of the fence where they were standing. And I said, I need your name and badge number. And I need your name and badge number. And I ID'd like 4 of them. And I said, look, guys, I'm pro law enforcement. I'm former law enforcement. But what you guys just did to us was wrong. Okay? There was no emergency here. There's a man with a broke down car, and you decided to run his driver's license, which you probably didn't have the right to do. Okay? But you decided you had to run his driver's license, and then 7 more units had to come and back you up, completely blocking our driveway. And you guys knew for 25 minutes that we were sitting out there waiting to get into work. A long line of cars with the flashers going. You can see that we're trying to get into work. They just don't give a shit, especially when you're the media. They hate the media. That's why I know last night she specifically put those high beams right in my face, because she hates the media. They hate the media. They blocked our road to get into our TV station for 25 minutes so they could stand around and bullshit with each other. It's a joke. And so, again, I'm not anti-law enforcement. I'm pro-law enforcement. But what I am is pro-civil service. They are civil servants. The first thing they should think of is their safety. The second thing they should think of is getting our gate back open so we can get to work. Seriously. There was no safety problem. They were all standing around bullshitting about one of them getting late or something. All right? I was a cop. I know how it was. I know how. Don't tell me, don't cop-splain to me, because I was a cop. I was taught how to cop-splain, okay? And it bugs the crap out of me when these incidents happen. And I did file a complaint on that one, by the way. And so it's just like, look, if we can't, if you guys just you don't have any care for us at all, you'll put your lights right in our cameras, you'll put your lights right in people's face when they're trying to watch a parade, and then refuse to move it, being a nasty bitch and refusing to move it. And you'll pull up as a backup unit and block a gate that's 40 feet from the traffic stop for no reason for 25 minutes. This is the kind of stuff they do. And it bugs the crap out of me. It really does. And what I said to that sergeant that got him so upset, and this brings me to my point tonight, was I said, you know what? The way she treated me, that's earning the hate. You guys earned the hate. And he goes, what did you say? And he stepped towards me. That's an intimidation tactic. And so I stood directly up and I said, you are earning the hate. This is earning the hate. She could have just turned the lights down. She could have just moved the car. She could have been nice to me. But she chose none of those things. She chose to be a bitch and roll the window up and keep the light shining in my broadcast and in my face. That's what happened. That's the bottom line. And so, it is what it is. I'll tell you what, we need these cops, but we need them to be legal. We need them to follow the Constitution. You know? We need them to do the right thing. It's important. It's important to not lose track of the fact that you work for us. And I just lost a subscriber. I'm sure it was a cop. I don't care. I'm not anti-law enforcement. I'm not. Matter of fact, we need cops. We need more of them. We need cops that are going to go out and do a good job. But they can't let ego override the fact that they work for us. And if I lose a few subscribers for it, oh well, because I was a cop. I am pro law enforcement. I'm a conservative, but I'm also a libertarian. And I do believe that cops take it way too far a lot of time. There's Portland Andy. Polite as F. I love Portland Andy. He's great. He always puts up these big videos, and a lot of times I use him. I always mention him when I use him because he is awesome. All right, so there you go. That's Portland Andy, and I don't know. He might be going off here. I might have to find something else to fill that hole with. But we need to talk about the snowfall anyway, and that's where that's going to end up going. So we'll probably do that here next. Let's see. Where is my radar Omega? There it is. All right, guys. There we go. Peace out, and peace out to Portland Andy. All right, so let's get back to this. And what we're basically looking at here, this is the... we got red flag warnings down here. Nothing new. All right. We are so dry down here. We are about 2.5 to 3 months ahead on drought. Normally, right at this time of the year, we normally would be just starting to see the first hints of a drought. But this year, we are well into a drought. Way into a drought at this point. So that means that if it doesn't start raining, we could potentially be looking at a really bad brush fire season down here, and also up where my cabin's at as well. They're very dry up there, and they're looking at a drought up there as well. Not as bad as down here. All right, so we do have a few storm chasers out here, so let's get these guys up, and we'll put them down here. Let's see who we got here. We got Ryan Scholl, and this first one was Connor Croft. So we got Connor Croft and Ryan Scholl, and they're both, and I think we got a third one here. Let me see if I can get that set up. Let's see, I think this one here. Yeah, look at that. We got 3 storm chasers out. So let me get this all set up for you guys. All right, there's our 3 storm chasers. Scottsdale, Pennsylvania, Harrison, New York, and Sarenville, New York, it looks like. And so there's our 3 storm chasers. Let's put this radar into motion. You can see them on the map there. And we've got lots of winter weather advisories up and lots of snowfall. Let's see if we've got... this is the winter weather product, which actually shows you better the freeze line, and you can see there nothing's really a mix. It goes right from rain and then switches over to snow, and there you go. But lots of snowfall here. I thought there was a let me see here. All right, this is a 48-hour precipitation, so we can see area. This is not radar. This is the estimated precipitation during this event, and you can see here the areas in green have gotten quite a bit of rain, and you can see it came through the south down here. My cabin didn't get much at all. Heath didn't get that much at all, but down here in south. You know, down here in the south of Atlanta near Macon, all the way down to Valdosta, just north of Valdosta, down to Cordell, all got some pretty heavy rain that came through over the last 48 hours. And now we're seeing that up here, going out up here. And there is a winter mesoscale discussion for this area in blue. This area could see some of the worst of the weather right there. And let's see here what else we've got. Let's go ahead and go back to reflectivity. Now, this is mostly just light rain, and we can go and we can take a look at take a look at it on the 3D. But you can see that there's really no high cloud tops here. This is all just moderate, light to moderate snowfall, and we're just really not seeing the really high cloud tops like we see when we see big thunderstorms, tornadoes, or hurricanes, things like that. We see much higher cloud tops. We're just not seeing it on this one, on the 3D view. This is all just basically light rain. That's why, or snow, I mean. We're not seeing any thunder snow. The winds are not too bad at this point. And so, but continuing to watch. But it is coming down. Boy, oh boy. It is absolutely coming down in the northeast. Areas starting south of Virginia Beach and going all the way up to Portland, or to Boston. Doesn't quite make it up as far as Bangor, but Portland, Maine could see some of this here overnight as well. And this is going to work its way up. This is kind of a half-assed nor'easter. What is going on up here? Let me see what the hell is going on up here.
mass.gov/snow. And I know that many people have been already out there working hard to prepare for this. They'll continue to be ready for what comes, and we'll continue to keep you posted. I do want to thank all of our DPU workers, plow drivers, first responders, and those out there who will be out there with chainsaws and the like to do what needs doing over the next 24, 72 hours. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our MEMA director, Don Brantley.
Thank you, Governor Healy. As we prepare for these blizzard conditions, I want to focus today on what we at the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency are doing and what residents should be doing to stay safe. MEMA has been actively coordinating with state agencies, local emergency managers, utilities, and public safety partners over the past several days. We've worked closely with the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, Governor Healy, and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll to prepare a declaration of a state of emergency.
Honestly, guys, these press releases are almost just garbage. They really they say the same thing every time. It's always the same thing. They always come out, they take turns, and we're working very closely with all the other agencies involved, and we're working very closely with the salt company to get enough salt, and we're working very closely with our drivers who are driving the trucks, and we're working very closely with our law enforcement partners who are doing their thing. And then we're also working very closely with public safety, making sure that we can keep the roadways as safe as possible, working very closely with our local, municipal, and county, and state, and federal officials to make sure that all the proper resources and funding are being moved into. Dude, let me tell you something. It's the same speech every blizzard. It's the same. It's, I don't know. I used to give press conferences at the fire department many years ago. And a press conference, you're not going out there to give them information they don't know. You're basically going out there to confirm information that they already know. And therefore, a lot of times, you go out there and you're not giving them anything. And it's kind of stupid, really. There's always the congratulatory patting each other on the back. I want to thank our FBI, CIA, and whatever partners, and they partnered with us, and we partnered with ICE, and ICE partnered with them, and they partnered with us, and we made a hell of a killer drink. Yeah, I mean, it's like, who cares? I don't know. I just, I wish they would come out and say, "Hi, everybody. I'm the police chief, and I'm going to tell you guys what's actually going on right now." But they will never do that. Press conferences give you a lot of information because that's part of the illusion. See, a press conference, you'll walk away with the feeling that you got information. Hey, that was a press conference and they gave us lots of information. But the truth is, they really didn't give you anything that you didn't already have. That's kind of the bottom line with these things. It's kind of crazy. Um, yeah, thoughts and prayers. Um, let's see who else we got in here. What do we got going on? Yeah, it's a mess down there right now. Uh, Deploribus. Um, yeah, a lot of times they are. I want you to think back and tell me a press release where they came out and broke big, huge information during a press conference. It generally doesn't happen. The information will be slowly leaked, and then as the public comes to grips with it, they'll hold a press release simply to confirm what's already been leaked. That's how they do it. That way there's no moment. Okay? I've seen Grady Judd's pressers. They're pretty good. And he does come out and give you a lot of information sometimes. That to me is a good sheriff or a good city police officer, chief or whatever, will come out and will give you as much information as they can. I know from being a cop that most of the time when they tell you we're not giving out any information because it might compromise the investigation, it's bullshit. Most of the time, every now and then they'll know something like it was a pearl-handled knife. And we don't want that to get out because that's something we can spring on them in an interview. See, if we get a potential person down the road, we can kind of hint about the fact that it was a pearl-handled knife. And we might be able to use the fact that no one knows that except the bad guy. You see what I mean? And if no one knows it's a pearl-handled knife but the bad guy, and you get the bad guy in there, you get him to say if you can get him to say pearl-handled knife, you got him. That's why they don't give out specific information. However, most of the information that they don't give you, they could easily give you. Absolutely. That's the bottom line. So they use this clause where it's like, hey, we don't want to give this piece of information because it may be something we can use in an interrogation later. Okay, that's fine. That's one or two things. It's not the whole everything. I personally, I'm very much against the encryption of scanner traffic, and I'm very much against the lack of transparency. We've gotten this absolutely amazing lack of transparency going in this country right now. Luckily, most of our police officers and most of our agencies can be trusted to some extent, and it's not too bad. But man, oh man, well, we are following the plow trucks right now in some of these views. All right, so there we go. I'm going to look for some more views here in just a few minutes. I'm still working on getting the entire studio back up. In fact, as you can see here, still having some issues with one of the cameras there. Another one's not coming up. I don't know what's going on, but we're getting it all back together here. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian. This is Starship Adventures broadcasting live tonight from Starship Studios in North Fort Myers, Florida, broadcasting worldwide on YouTube, the world's largest broadcast platform. And we are broadcasting fiber optic. We're glass all the way to the net, baby. All the way to the net. And here we go. We are having our Sunday night broadcast. We're glad you guys have all made it in tonight. And we will be continuing to track what's going on out there in the big world as we keep going here. All right, so let's get back to the grid. There we go. Let's see what we got here. I don't know what's in that middle view now. That was the they were out in front of the Guthrie house. I don't know if that's something different now or what. So I am looking for additional feeds here, so just bear with me, as it's hard to talk and look for feeds at the same time. I think Andy signed off. Yeah, he signed off. Um, but I figured that's what he was doing, was signing off. All right. I do have. Oh, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that very much. You have no idea. Thank you very much for the super chat. 318FNL. Thank you very much. I do really appreciate that. Guys, all the money I make, I roll back into the studio, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, let's. I've got a few other links here to put in, so let's go ahead and switch this one out since I don't even know what that is there. Looks like a box of pins or something. So let's go ahead and. There we go. Let's go ahead and switch that one out. What I got here is this person is. I have no idea. Some protest. Is this still? I think this is in Mexico. This, I believe, is the protest in Mexico. It is live. It's Farcar is the name of the channel, and it says ICE protests in Mexico. I believe it's Spanish, so I'm having a hard time reading it. I'm looking for anything else that's live out there. All right, let me see what we can come up with. One of the hardest things on this show, and one of the things I hope as I get bigger, that I can get someone to help me find feeds. Because once I go live, it's very hard for me to continuously be looking for feeds while I'm live. And so I would love to eventually find a way to do production that way. William, that could be the case. Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, I don't know. But we will take a look at that here in just a few minutes. We're going to go through the news. Narco warfare. Mexico erupts into violence. Mexico is now deploying Air Force as cartel weapons outgun local police in deadly raid. Man, it's getting bad up there. So that's what's going on right now in Mexico. And they've got a special, I think they got a page up there. Let's see here. Apparently the cops raided a place and they shot back at the cops with rocket launchers. You know, we don't think about that much here, but could you imagine, could you literally imagine being that outgunned? I mean, that's crazy if you think about it. That's very, very, very outgunned. To come pulling in with pistolas and have them with RPGs. That's pretty scary stuff. Oh, for God's sake, with this mouse. I swear. All right. So basically, at work, I wanted to update you about what's going on at my work. As you guys know, we had a big equipment snafu last week. It happens. I don't know exactly what happened, but they we have recovered from that now. All of our automation systems are back up, and things are getting better slowly, and that's the important thing. Is that things are slowly getting back to normal. I thought I was gonna have to work all weekend, and luckily I didn't have to, and that's really nice. I did not want to work this weekend. I didn't want to do it. All right, so let me move these down here, and there we go. Those are the only two we have left, and we're having issues. They're having internet issues, it looks like. All right, and that's that Mexico deal up there. All right. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I don't know. Puerto Vallarta. Anybody that watches the Love Boat knows Puerto Vallarta, because that's where the Love Boat was going about 90% of the time, was going there. All right. I don't know why those two storm chasers just keep skipping and skipping. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, so let's get back to this. This blizzard is something else, guys. They're saying it's going to be bad. A powerful bomb cyclone is now blasting the Northeast, bringing life-threatening blizzard conditions, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and a potential for over 2 feet of snow on the I-95 corridor. New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, all under blizzard warnings this evening, as heavy snow rates of 1 to 3 inches per hour are creating total whiteout conditions. Blizzard warnings currently in effect for major hubs, including New York City, Philadelphia, and Boston, affecting more than 40 million people. This is the first blizzard warning in New York City since 2017. Snow amounts, widespread accumulations of 12 to 24 inches are expected. The heaviest snow is forecast for Sunday night into Monday morning, with rates occasionally reaching 2 to 3 inches per hour. Dangerous winds and visibility, winds to 70 miles an hour, creating life-threatening whiteout conditions and near-zero visibilities. Governors across 7 states have declared states of emergency. State leaders are telling everyone to stay at home until conditions improve. New York City and other communities have announced mandatory travel bans starting Sunday evening. Over 9,000 flights have already been canceled through Tuesday. Amtrak has modified its Northeast Corridor schedule, and New Jersey Transit has announced service suspensions starting this evening. There is a power outage risk that is climbing as we get into the overnight hours here. It's a combination of heavy, wet snow, high wind loading, and also a high load on the lines themselves from everybody heating. So there could be some widespread outages, either because of the snow or because of traffic or because of just the high use. Storm surge of 2 to 4 feet could cause moderate coastal flooding and beach erosion from Delaware Bay to Cape Cod during high tide cycles. New York City and Boston public schools have called off all classes on Monday. Numerous other school districts are following suit. So there you go, guys. And Delaware governors implementing mandatory driving restrictions. They're now going to level 2 driving restrictions issued in Kent and Sussex counties effective 9 p.m. tonight until further notice. Under a level 2 notice, no person may operate a motor vehicle on Delaware roadways except for essential personnel, including first responders. Well, there you go. See, we have mandatory evacuations down here and mandatory this, but they don't ever do anything about it. You can still go out. I mean, it's just kind of a suggestion. This sounds pretty serious. No one in, no one out. Non essential travel is now illegal across the greater New York City area. It's now officially under total travel bans as the historic blizzard enters its most dangerous phase. As of 9 p.m., all city streets, highways, and bridges are closed to non essential vehicular traffic, a restriction that remains in effect until noon on Monday. Mayor Kami Zoran Mamdani and Governor Kathy, I don't know what I'm doing, Hochul, have warned that the ban will be strictly enforced to allow emergency responders and plow crews to manage the expected 1 to 2 inches. Man, liberals love throwing power around, just like with COVID. We're going to close 2 weeks to stop the curve. Goo, goo, goo. They just love it, man. They just love it. Crews work as snow begins to pile up on Long Island as the nor'easter slams into high gear. New York State Department of Transportation crews now hard at work trying to keep the roadways clear. All right, so there you go. It's going to be a long night for the Northeast. So there you go. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't go anywhere. It's kind of the thing. All right. If anybody has anything else on that, let me know. Yeah, I wouldn't go. Well, the truth is, I'm a bit of a xenophobe when it comes to traveling. I've been to Canada a couple times. I really don't. I have no desire to go to other countries. There is so many absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful, amazing things to see in this country alone that I don't have enough years left to even do that. So it's kind of ridiculous for me to even, entertain that. Yeah. But yeah, I also agree with you. It seems like the safe zones in Mexico are getting smaller, and it's getting harder to find places where you can safely go. Used to be if you went to Cancun or what's the other one up there? There's another one right near Cancun. It's big too. And then of course Puerto Vallarta. There's about 10 of them. If you went to these ports 10 or 15 years ago, it was completely safe. You were fine as long as you stayed either at the port or if you were staying on a resort. You go to the resort and they bring you into the resort walls and you stay in the resort and it's beautiful. But I don't think it's as safe as it used to be. Philadelphia Zoo's brought the polar bear in. That's how cold it is. I love it. That's good. Uh, Good deal. All right, They've always got Bernie Sanders up here. This is what you do. Bernie Sanders. That's right, Bernie Sanders. This is what you do. That's a low blow. That's right. Oh, there we go. I was wondering why my thing wasn't working.
That is a low blow.
That was like 20 years ago. He don't even sound like that no more. He sounds like an old curmudgeon now. The socialist Bernie Sanders trying to convince you that something that's never worked is the way of the future. Yeah, well, and you got to realize why is the cartels, why is all this happening in Mexico? Well, it's happening because the Mexico cartels have been living on the drug trade coming into the United States, both by land, by sea, by air. They've been living on it, and they have been raising their kids on it, and it's coming to an end. Trump is being very aggressive right now, in this fight against all the cartels and the drugs and all everything. And with the wall going up, and with them shooting down all the drones, and with all the boats getting blown up in the Caribbean and everything else, the whole drug thing is just all up in the air right now. And these people that have made their life doing this are having to reinvent themselves. They're having to figure out new ways to sell their crap and different way. And so it's brought on a lot of stress right now in Mexico, and I think that's what we're seeing now. Is that manifestation of that? The cartels and the government are not seeing eye to eye because they both were getting greased by this whole thing. All these presidents just allowing this shit to go on for years, allowing the border to be open, allowing the free trade of drugs and humans and everything else that comes across the border. And now we're putting a stop to it. The wall's going up. The anything that comes over is getting shot down, and we're not putting up with this bullshit no more. And so yeah, the cartels are hurting right now. We've shut down their primary source of income. Yeah, if they keep it up, they might get some. Yeah, they better watch themselves. They better watch themselves, or they'll end up with special forces coming in. Our special forces. They won't like that very much. I can tell you that. Um, all right, so let's see what else is going on. Why is my mouse being so squirrely tonight? It's a blizzard bomb, Mom Kitty. That's that's what they're calling it anyway. All right. Why is this not loading? Let's click it again. Click it a third time. Oh, here we go. A former FBI agent believes the investigators should explore a new possible angle in the mysterious disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. John Grusing worked with the FBI's Denver division for 25 years, investigating violent crimes, missing persons, serial killers, and more. He is also the author of a book, several books, and he's made it clear that he is only operating off the information that has been made public in the case, and that he's posting a new theory in case it might jog the memory of a member of the public who could help solve the case. The first thing is he does with his glove, and with the glove, it doesn't look like he's trying to take the camera off. It looks like he's trying to cover it with his right hand, and then he looks down and around, and he gets the branches, and he puts the branches up in front of it. You guys remember all that? There's a chance, since we don't have the audio, that he is either knocking on the door loudly or that he has pressed the Ring doorbell and is trying to get Nancy to answer the door. And he's shielding himself from being seen as the masked person. So she will, in her confusion, open the door. That makes sense. He was doing weird things in front of the Ring doorbell camera, you know? And so what he's thinking is he may have been trying to get her to come to the door. He may have been holding stuff up there like flowers in front of the thing or something. And that makes sense. And you can see in some of these pictures, well, you can't, I don't have them up right now, but there's pictures here of some flowers and stuff that were like little like weed flowers that you would pick on the way up to the house, laying right by the door. And I think that sounds plausible, that maybe this guy was using things in front of the camera to try to get her to come to the camera, or get her to come to the door. I don't know. This one FBI agent, former FBI agent, believes that this sounds like it could be the most likely possibility, with considering that blood was found splattered on Guthrie's front porch and down the driveway, and authorities have not released any information about whether the blood found inside the home. It's very possible that he got her to come to the door, she opened the door, and he grabbed her. And there was a fight right there in the entranceway. He put her in a car, he drove away. The suspect, who wore a gun is believed in a cheap Walmart holster and wore it in front of his body, which is a very poor way to wear your gun. Anybody knows you don't wear your gun in the front like that. You can't run. There's no positive to carrying a gun there. You need to be able to draw it. If you're going to carry it cross draw, you're going to carry it about 3/4 of the way around on a 45-degree angle. He had it like up towards the front, and it was straight up and down. It's hard to draw a gun from right there. You want to be over on the side, or you want to have it cross draw like this over on the side. Now, same side draw is better, but cross draw works as well. But that holster, when he had it on his belt, it was not set up for cross draw, and it was not set up for same side draw or strong side draw. So that whole thing was very strange to me. That he would have this cheap ass holster. Looks like the gun may not even fit that holster. And he was carrying it in such a way like he's never shot a gun before in his life. You've watched 1,000 cop shows. You've never seen a cop wear a gun like that. You've watched all this TV through your life. You've never seen a cop wear a gun like that. So that's kind of something that that's something that kind of bugged me. I don't know. I think I'm just going to get rid of these right now. What is this thing loading up? Oh, for God's sake. I've got a program loading on my screen. My video editor is trying to load with the show going on, and it's creating an issue right now. Did you hit that button? Because I didn't hit that button. Mama, was that you grunting? Let me see if I can get rid of this program now. Damn. Oh, it loaded it twice. That's awesome. Maybe that explains a few things. All right, so there we go. I don't know what's going on here. We've got the one in the center top there. I think that's out of Mexico. Center left, New York City. That's a press conference that's going on where they're all congratulating each other for working so well together. The one right above me here, this is from earlier today in Portland, is what it says. Upper right is one of the storm chasers out there in that blizzard mess. And we see it there on the radar. All right. Yeah, I mean, who knows? This whole thing is weird to me. I don't know. I'm hoping we do finally one day get answers. I mean, every now and then you get one of these cases that is just never solved, or at least not in our lifetime. And that's going to really suck for that family. It's bad enough to lose a loved one. It's even worse to not know if they're dead or alive, to not know if their body's rotten somewhere, to not know if they're suffering, if they're starving, if they're being tortured. To get to the point where you hope they're dead, because that would be the best thing for them. I mean, it's terrible when you think about it. It's unfathomable. And so, I don't know. I keep hoping for a positive resolution, but I think that we're just out of time. Well, there we go. Gavin Newsom dodges the 2028 showdown question in another interview that he did today. That douche has been on any camera that will look at him. He's been on it. And he thinks he's the heir apparent for the Democrat nominee for president. Well, I got news for you. The absolute dolt Kamala Harris, she thinks that she is the heir apparent, and that she thinks that they're going to vote for her yet again. I can't believe that this woman even thinks that could even happen. But that's, believe it or not, when they do straw polls at these gatherings of Democrats, she comes up in the top 3 every time. There's a few others that come up routinely. Gavin Newsom and his hair. So I mean, the good news for our country, the Democrats have nobody good on their bench. They have nobody. Their bench right now consists of a California, 2 California narcissists, one that has ruined a city and a state, and the other one who worked for a senile boss and tried to ruin the country. So I don't see either one of these people doing very well next time around. But these are who the Democrats are going to put in. This is what they're going to do. Democrats, they've reached a point now where they can't do anything but just make bad decision after bad decision. And I hope they run Kamala. I think AOC is going to try to come in for a vice president spot or something. She's been really posturing a lot lately, and of course, I think we could see AOC come in and try to do something there. I don't know. I think it's entirely possible. I think it's entirely possible. Narco warfare. Let's see what else is going on. Yep. What? What was that, Mama? Did you say something? I heard brew. She's down here climbing the ladder. I don't know if you guys can see that. She's down here climbing the ladder. Ed Earl makes biscuits. She lays on her back and she does it upside down. She climbs the ladder. Yep. All right, so let's see what else we got. That's pretty much it. I've already gone through the space weather. We've got a very clean sun right now, very unusual. It's been 4 years since we've had a blank sun like this, so very interesting. Very interesting, I think. Let's see what else we got going on. Tonight on Coast to Coast at 1 a.m. with George Knapp. They're going to have they're going to have someone on discussing animal rights, including protecting wolves, shutting down the trafficking of American horses, and stopping the government's plan to conduct mass slaughter of barred owls. And then in the second half hour, they're going to speak about the historical significance of the Rocky Mountain Ranch in Colorado, its place in early UFO research archives, and the report of high strangeness that's taken place there at that location. That's tonight. It's Coast to Coast AM with George Knapp on over 700 radio stations, including mine, 92.5 Fox News here in Fort Myers. It's on every night from 1 to 5. 4-hour show. All right, and let's see what else we got going on. I moved my FT710 back in the house. It's been in the car for 2 weeks, and I don't want it to become a car radio. So it's here. It's back in the house. And I've got it all set up here. You can kind of see it here on this view. I've got the the ICOM 756 Pro 2, and then I've got the Yaesu FC710, and in my Yaesu FT100, and those are my 3 HF rigs all right there. And I'm still in the process of getting all that hooked back up, but I'm hoping to have at least 2 of the 3 rigs set up and working as they sit right here. All right, I'm also thinking about setting up my old rig with the signal link box and setting it up to do WinLink emails and stuff. So I'm looking at some different cool stuff with that. Anyway, that's what I got going on there. This is Starship Studios, guys. It started out as a ham shack behind my house, and I dried it all in and built my own consoles and racks and everything all the way around. And now it is my radio studio. It's a 12 by 14 room that accommodates all of our broadcasting here. And I have actually 10 computers in here. We can broadcast up to 9 simultaneous signals out over the internet. So pretty cool stuff we can do with that. All right, and then we've got we're watching that press conference. We're watching the blizzard. We're seeing the earlier scenes that came in from Portland. And that upper center, I'm not sure what's going on up there. I have no idea. I'm going to find something else to go in that hole. I don't see any protest footage. If anybody sees anything, let me know. Yeah, I love George Norrie. I got to interview him. Really great guy. And, of course, I really loved Art Bell. Um, all right, let me see if I can find that channel. Hold on. I don't show a channel by that name. Yeah. All right, Jeanette, have a good night out there. Yep. And you guys stay warm in the Northeast. This cat gets so much love, and you have no idea. She literally lives here, and I work. This is where I do all my work and stuff. So she literally spends hours a day with me. Not just what you guys see, but many additional hours as well. She spent the whole day. I had the door wide open today. It's a beautiful day outside, and she was in and out about 10 times, and she just loves when I leave the door open. But yeah, she was doing her thing. But she spends a lot of time with me. That's what she does. She just hangs out in here with me. Must be boring. Yeah. All right. So I am additionally looking for. Sand, if you can tell me, I don't see anything with the name TOMMU. So help me out here. If you give it to me again, give me the yeah. Mama, no, don't tear shit up. Don't tear shit up. Yeah. So yeah, I got all the lights working today. Look at that. Ain't that some shit? Yeah. I got all that shit going today. I got two of them up here. I'll tell you what. These lights are bright. I mean, they literally were on a cop car, and I put them. I got two of them up here and two of them down here, and I got the whole light bar behind me. I thought it was kind of cool. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but hey, it was fun to hook up anyway. That's the light bar in the back. Oh, and by the way, it has a switch panel, and I can switch like all the different flash patterns. And then these are the two up there, and then these are the two down on the desk down here. Look at that, Mom Kitty. Is that bright or what? She's like, yeah, I just closed my eyes, that's all. Oh. I don't think this is anything. There's really not a whole lot here. These people that ice dive, they go swimming in ice cold water, I think they're nuts. I would never see my package again. It'd be gone. Like, yeah. Taking the big 10-8. Nothing there. I don't think there's a lot of protesting going on tonight. If there is, no one's broadcasting it. I see nothing. Nope, I don't see anything. If you guys see something, let me know. Yeah. All right. Well, I've got a few requests in tonight to do talk about our sponsor because I haven't done it in like 4 nights, and so let me see what this is. All right, hold on. I got gunfire outside. Sounds like it may be about a block away. Nothing unusual for this neighborhood, though. Okay, I'm putting that link in the center there. That one looks a little more stable than some of these others. That's Thomas Allen in the middle there, upper middle. Oh, let me hit the button so you guys can see it. There we go. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I get so involved trying to get the screen up that I forget what I'm doing. Make Greenland great again. I agree. Yeah, there's no trolls. it's getting to the point where what do these trolls, they leave because when they start trolling me, I give it right back to them, and I counterpoint them, and they don't like that. They yell obscenities and run is usually what they end up doing. So anyway, all right, everybody, I guess it's time. Ladies and gentlemen, this hour of the broadcast has been sponsored by Trumpanol. Trumpanol is an amazing medication out there for all you crazy liberals that'll make you feel and act normal, make you fit into society, and make you actually want to do good with your life. So try some Trumpanol today. Next time you get crazy and you decide you want to go protest, you decide that you hate the country or you hate the president, or you decide that you're just so frustrated that you have to sit in your Prius in your mom's driveway and scream at the dashboard and pound on the steering wheel, try some Trumpanol. It'll make your life so much better. It'll take your whole prick nature down a notch, and I think you'll like it. So try Trumpanol today. And of course, if Trumpanol's not strong enough, try the new extra MAGA Strength Trumpanol. MAGA Strength Trumpanol, twice the strength of regular Trumpanol. MAGA Strength Trumpanol, if taken for multiple days, may actually increase your patriotism so much that you might actually go get a job. You might actually try to create a family. You might actually have children. It's amazing. It'll make you quit being crazy. You'll quit running off your family. You'll quit you'll quit all the big arguments you've been having at Thanksgiving and Christmas with your family. All that can be fixed by just simply taking MAGA Strength Trumpanol. So try MAGA Strength Trumpanol today. And if for some reason you can't keep food or Trumpanol down, you can always try the new Trumpanol fast-acting MAGA Strength Trumpanol suppositories. These suppositories work great. You just ram a couple of them right up your ass, and next thing you know, you are patriotic as hell. You are going to feel patriotic from your butthole up. You're just going to love life. It's going to make things great, and you're not going to be such a raging prick all the time. Try Trumpanol fast-acting suppositories. Put them in your asshole today and stop being such an asshole. They work really well. That's Trump suppositories. And then, if it's your butthole that's the problem, you can always try some of our new Trumpanol Butthurt Cream. The Butthurt Cream, when reality's a pain in the ass, try Butthurt Cream. Its fast-acting relief formula will cool the fire that's burning in your pants for the big bad orange man. And Butthurt Cream will help you today. So try to get some of that Butthurt Cream. You might like it. And if you're seeing things that are scaring you, try Trump Drops. Trump Drops are great. Just a few drops in each eye, and next thing you know, you'll start to see the world for the way it really is. You'll stop seeing things through the lens of social media, and you'll start understanding the way things work by simply seeing the truth with your own eyes. I do caution you, though, the first couple times you use this, it's going to be scary. You're going to see things that are kind of scary, and you're going to have to be prepared for that. Trump Drops by the makers of Trumpanol. Try it today. See clearly and quit being a bitch. Trumpanol Drops. And the next thing we have, MAGA ears. MAGA ears. Same thing for your ears, for your eyes. There you go. And you just put a few of these drops in each ear, and next thing you know, you'll quit hearing all those crazy voices in your head that keep telling you to go do crazy things like run over cops and stuff like that. Hear the truth for the very first time. Warning, though. Warning, the first couple times you use this, you may hear some really scary realities for the first time. So you might want to take it slow. Maybe just one drop on the first time around. Don't go too crazy with it. It's, you want to do that. And are you having a hard time sleeping? From the makers of Trumpanol, we now have Trump PM. Trump PM is a great product that will help you sleep. Trump PM by the makers of Trumpanol. This is for those that can't sleep because they're crazy psychotic Democrats, and all they can think about is going out and putting on an inflatable dinosaur costume and standing in front of the Portland ICE office. And if that's you, take 2 of these, take a nap, and you'll wake up feeling better. You'll wake up at 3 in the morning with a raging boner, and when you piss, you'll piss red, white, and blue. You're going to like it, I'm telling you. You'll be erecting a flagpole of your own, if you know what I mean. And let's see here. What else do we have? A new overreaction ointment from the makers of Trumpanol. Do you have a rash between your legs because you've been protesting too long? Or maybe you're just in a lot of pain from the last election and how bad it hurt your butt. And maybe it could just be the fact that you're being chased around your local town by the big bad orange man. And if that's the case, try the overreaction ointment by the makers of Trumpanol today and get the relief that you need so you'll quit being such a raging bitch. And finally, speaking of raging bitches, we now have the MAGA Strength Midol. New MAGA Midol for those women that, hey, you know, when it's that time of the month and you're raging and you can't go out and protest because no one else is out there but you, then take a MAGA Midol and get some sleep. You'll wake up in the morning feeling a lot better about your patriotism, trust me. It's really good. Give that thing a rest for a while, if you know what I mean. My goodness. And if it's your butthole that's the problem, try the new Preparation Orange. Just liberally smear this orange goo all up in your bunghole, and next thing you know, you won't be such an aggravated bitch all the time, and you'll actually start to like people, and you'll become patriotic again. It's really, really cool. A lot of times people aren't patriotic just because they're assholes, and so with Preparation Orange, you don't have to worry about that. And finally, a new product that's just hit the market. Men, are you having sexual performance issues with your liberal partner? Don't worry. We have the new MAGA MAGA. This shit will make it work great. This is MAGA MAGA. It's going to be huge, if you know what I mean. Next time you put up your flagpole, make it your flagpole, if you know what I mean as well. And hey, let's show her who's the commander-in-chief. And besides, she wouldn't be such a bitch if you threw it to her now and then. You know what I mean? So try MAGA MAGA today and get your MAGA MAGA so they can MAGA the shit out of her MAGA, if you know what I mean. Try that today, MAGA MAGA. And all these products are in stores where available all over the U.S. You can buy these at CVS, Walgreens, Radio Shack, Chuck E. Cheese, Buc-ee's, and all Circle K stores. So buy it today. That's Trumpanol. Trumpanol. Quit being such a bitch. Trumpanol. Yes. It's AOC approved, yeah. I'm branding that. You guys have no idea. I'm coming out with shirts. I'm going to have coffee mugs. It's going to be great. I'm going to have the whole line of Trumpanol products. It's going to be amazing. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, is that going on right now? Let me see if I can get some sound. Boy, Tommy knows how to find the trouble with these liberals. I love it. Okay, that's browser 4. Let's bring up the audio.
You guys can't even fucking throw eggs properly. You guys are imbeciles.
Imbeciles.
You can still hear me.
That's how Spock would say it. Captain, they are imbeciles.
Ho, ho. All the illegals got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Sean Michael Bitgood's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. All the illegals got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Sean Michael Bitgood's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. All the illegals got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Sean Michael Bitgood's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
I'd say it's not very original, but it's more original than most of the shit that all the other side's been yelling out there, I have to admit. What kind of world is it where these people they attack law enforcement for doing what we sent them there to do, and they're protecting people that broke our laws and came here illegally? Talk about taking the moral low ground on everything. The left always takes the moral low ground. Whether it's okay, one side's for the Jewish people who have been oppressed, and one side's for Hamas who's killing them. Guess who's for who? Well, let's see. The left, they like the terrorists. The right, we like the Jewish people. It's like I don't understand that. It's like why all the Jewish hate? When you ask these people on the left why they hate Jewish people, there is no valid answer. They don't come. There's no answer. They just hate them. They just hate them. Really, you just hate them? Yeah, I just hate them. Okay, really. You can't even come up with some stupid historical reason why you hate them. You just hate them, right? It's ridiculous to me. And then they're for like terrorists. I think the biggest one I love is queers for Hamas. I can't get over that. Queers for Hamas. That's like chickens for the wolf. Think about that. That's like chickens starting a union to protect the wolves. That's just stupid. And that's how stupid these people are.
You probably had it when they were working.
People going by, throwing eggs. People buying, throwing by.
I'm working on merch.
Illegals going
It's a lot more than just making the merch. The getting the store end of it hooked up is going to be a real mess.
Illegals going by, throwing eggs again. Illegal. Oh, they hit my megaphone with the egg. Y'all hit my megaphone with an egg.
Good old Bukkake. I disagree with you on that. I do. I'm involved in a lot of conservative circles, and I don't see any Jew hate on the right. I don't see it. There is a few crazy people that are always calling in and blaming everything on the Jews, but those are just racists. Those are just people that just hate people because of who they are. It's not because there's a valid reason. Most of the hate you see is on the left. The left is the one that supports terrorism, and they dislike countries that are sovereign and have their own sovereign country, and I don't understand that. So whatever.
You don't need a father in your life.
Spitting truth, my goodness. Why are they here and not in front of eyes?
And why? Why do people hate Jewish people? They can't tell you. There is no logical reason why. They just do. You know, why did people hate black people for years? There was no reason why. They're good folks. But it's just the way it was. And then people hated Mexican people for a long time. Why? Just because? Because it was the vogue thing to do. And the Jewish people are the same way. There's people that hate them just because it's that's what their friends do, or that's what they do, or that's what the liberals do. I don't understand it. I don't understand hate in any form. I don't. If you hate any group of people for a reason, and that reason is because, you know, they're that group of people, then you are a racist. So I have a real hard time with this one. I really do.
Again, all I'm saying is to show your emotional state. Drive-by eggings.
You can dislike what a group of people do without becoming racist and disliking the group of people. I mean, I believe that. I think it's just important that we try not to just hate people just because they're a class of people. I don't know why suddenly that, you know, it's funny how it's completely acceptable for some. You know, you can make fun of certain classes of people, certain groups of people, certain ethnicities of people, certain genders of people, and others you can't. It's never fair in this world, is it?
Hitting that bell on YouTube and Rumble, please do. It helps me immensely. You guys are amazing.
I think a lot of it is. I think racism is going away generationally. I don't think we're actually better people. I just think each generation is born less racist. I mean, when I was growing up, I knew people that were racist. You know, I knew friends of friends, my father's friends that were racist. I mean, I knew racist people, but it was never like, it was just, it wasn't hate as much as it was just the way it was. It was just the norm. And I hate that. Speaking of hate. Well, Scott, I cannot disagree with you, my friend. So we'll just leave that where it is. I can't disagree with that. That is what it says, and it does. I will say that for 2,000 years, every generation has felt that they were entering the end times. That's the opposite argument to yours. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying that you're correct. However, the counterpoint to that is literally every generation for 2,000 years has felt that they were in the end times. And our generation is no different.
Like the video on Rumble, yeah, definitely. Run it up.
That's, yeah, it's entirely possible. Does definitely seem like there's an acceleration to some of this going on right now.
God bless Donald Trump. God bless Captain Bellino. And God bless the United States of America, baby. God bless Captain Bellino. And God bless the United States of America, baby. God bless Biden. God bless Donald Trump. God bless Captain Bellino. And God bless the United States of America, baby. God bless us. Yeah, what he said. Oh shit, that was stupid.
All right, I think I just found another one. Portland. This is Portland at the ice facility. I put it right above my picture.
Did you use it?
No, no. No, I could exit out of it with this restream and it doesn't kill it. Says the man pretending to be a woman, right?
Oh boy.
You can't even be your own person. You're trying to take over womanhood, and you can't even be the person that you really are because your brain is so fried that you don't even know what to think anymore.
Oh, he is funny.
I do. I love hearing my bullshit. Oh, calm down, bro. You're gonna have a stroke. America sure does. America sure does. That's that monster voice.
No, you're doing good, brother. You're on it.
I just need to use the streamer talk. I mean, what the animal from the bucket?
And they're going, I've seen these two going back across the street.
Back and forth.
So you see those two in the back going across the street? They have a stash of eggs.
Okay. I'm gonna fly.
Yeah,
I've heard that they want to egg him. I've heard they want to egg him. And I'm
yeah,
like,
they're getting right now. They're getting more egg.
the moment they get close, I'm spraying.
You might want to stand by Josh behind the parking.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Tell Josh to. They don't have an umbrella.
It is, I don't think it's raining as hard anymore.
No, but they're grabbing a couple more eggs.
Oh, we should have brought some damn eggs.
No, don't go to their level. But you see at the building.
That's right.
they
Don't
have a
go to their
stand
level.
Where that tall guy is.
I was gonna catch him, but he threw it and it hit the tree and flew and didn't really break. So I was able to chuck that motherfucker. I almost hit him over the van, bro.
Looks like he's going around the building. Yep, I was wondering when they were going to try.
That's
that.
right, bro.
So some are coming straight at us, and the tall guy might be going around the way. Maybe.
Here they come. Here they come with the eggs.
Hold back, Tinkerton. Oh, well, he's gonna. Aura, let me grab this.
It's Egg Tifa. It's Egg Tifa. Holy shit. You guys don't know how to throw. You throw eggs like a girl.
Fucking tranny!
You throw eggs like a girl. The famous Sandlot saying. Why are you always talking about such gay stuff? Holy shit, they still don't know how to throw an egg. They still don't know how to throw an egg. Throw it, throw it, throw it. Throw it, throw it, throw it. You guys are wasting your EBT money.
That's funny. That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. You're wasting your EBT money. Oh, that's good. That's good on like 3 different levels. All right, this is what we got, guys. This is all the shots I can find right now.
We're still gonna deport all of you illegals. Ha ha, ho ho, ha ha, ho ho, ha ha. That one landed right in front of you, but it didn't hit you. That was so perfect.
And I live here.
Yeah.
I live here, and they're throwing eggs at residents.
Yeah, throwing eggs at the residents.
Why aren't they in front of ice? That's what I want to know.
You guys.
All right, and the last thing I want to talk about tonight before we sign off, as we're continuing to watch the protest here in Portland, 3 Mile Island. Do you guys remember 3 Mile Island? I bet some of you do. 3 Mile Island is a nuclear power plant that almost melted down. It was the closest we've come in the United States to a Chernobyl type situation, to what they China syndrome type situation, where a core basically goes critical, becomes superheated, and then sinks down into the earth. It was close. They were able to scram it and get it under control. They even made a movie about it. It was something else. But anyway, now 3 Mile Island is preparing for a return to service here many decades later, underscoring how America's fast-growing digital economy is reshaping the nation's energy priorities. We need to build nuclear plants as quick as we can build them. because we need more energy. Nuclear is the cleanest and best way to make nuclear power. Remember, we used to talk about how there would be nuclear waste everywhere and we wouldn't know what to do with it and everything else. Well, guess what? Yeah, they've found ways to deal with it, just like everything else. Constellation Energy's agreement with Microsoft to purchase power from the Pennsylvania facility marks a notable shift in how major technology companies are securing long-term electricity supply. As an artificial intelligence and cloud computing expands, demand for always-on carbon-free power is intensified, pushing nuclear energy back into the spotlight after years of stagnation. Constellation's Energy Senior Vice President says that the support it says that the federal support that they're getting from Donald Trump is the catalyst that has started this plant's revival, as well as other programs. Secretary Wright, incredible supporters of nuclear. We really appreciate the relationship we've been able to build with them. The president's been a very vocal advocate, and I think it has opened up a lot of opportunities in the field of nuclear energy. We're going to bring a bunch of new megawatts online with this one. The reopening also reflects broader concerns about grid reliability as extreme weather and surging electricity use test infrastructure nationwide. Listen, we've got issues with our electrical grid, guys. No doubt about it. It's not as bad as Europe. All that solar energy and all that wind energy brings the stability of your grid way down. Places like Florida, our grid here is pretty stable because we've got less than 10% renewable. When you get out to California and you're 30%, 40% renewable, there's a really good chance that they'll have brownout, blackout situations where the grid will not have enough depth to handle changes. See, when a power grid, when the sun comes out and suddenly there's a lot of new energy on the grid, or the wind starts blowing and suddenly there's not a lot of new energy on the grid, there's nowhere to spell off that extra energy. It dumps into a very large grid, and the grid holds it. Everything overvolts a little bit, but the grid holds it. And what ends up happening is it gets to the point where it starts tripping off stations and tripping off relays to parts of the country and things like that. And when all that starts happening, it starts a cascade failure that will sweep across an area. This is what happened in Greece. Remember? They had a huge power failure there. That power failure was caused by the inflexibility of their grid, caused by too much renewable energy and not enough depth on the system. That's the bottom line. I've studied this. I understand it. This is the problem. When wind energy is putting out not enough, we have to ramp up coal, we have to ramp up gas, we have to ramp up nuclear. So we put the rods in further, we make more heat, we spin the turbines faster, we put more bunker C in there, we add more gas, we do whatever it takes to bring, and within a few moments, within minutes, we can spool up the kilowatts a lot higher than they were. And now let's say all of a sudden there's a lot of extra energy on the grid. Oh, the grid's overvolting. Oh my God, it's overvolting. There's a sudden wind coming in with a storm and we're getting this overvolt now. So now what do we do, right? Well, it's easy. You retract the rods. You shut down the gas. You turn the bunker C down. You do all these things. You see what I mean? And immediately the amount of power that we're generating comes down. And that will stabilize the grid. Now we're back down to having within optimum parameters for the voltage, right? And the amperage. Now, so what causes these big grid failures is the fact that wind and tidal and solar don't have any depth. They cannot be controlled. You cannot decide how much of the energy you want and how much you don't want. You can't turn it up or down. Whatever you're getting is what you're getting. And the rest of the grid has to make up the difference, higher or lower. So when you have mostly renewable energy and what happened in Greece that day was they had shut down their 2 big nuclear plants, and they were running a few coal plants, and that's it. And when the voltage level dropped because of a big clouds moved in, and everything changed, and suddenly they weren't getting near the electricity on the grid that they were getting, that created an undervolt on the grid that started shutting down stations all over the country because of this undervolt. Normally here we would have cranked up our gas and coal plants, we would have cranked up our nuclear plants, we would have put the rods down and further, we would have gotten more heat, we would have spooled up those generators, and we would have created the extra energy we needed, and we would have done it so fast that the grid would have stayed up. But now that most things are wind, in places like Greece, there's so much wind, there's so much solar and other things. There's other stuff too. There's so much of these other things that are not regulatable. They're not changeable. They're not dimmable, if you will. And because of that, you lose the depth in the system. Yeah, I don't think Bitcoin's going to end up being the end all be all of money. I don't. Yes, Scott. But let me tell you something. Okay, yeah, electric's going to go up, but AI is going to make your life easier. Eventually, within 2 years, you'll have a robot washing your dishes. It's so close. And I understand that, yeah, we're going to pay a little more in electric. Yeah, we're going to have issues with the grid. Well, yeah, but it's all worth it. It's the growing pains of advancement, and it is what it is. That's interesting, Deploribus. I have heard of that. We are going to see. I do believe that we are going to see some pretty big power coming online pretty soon, and it's not going to be renewable. The truth is, this is the problem. All these years we've been told that the fuel's going to run out, the gas is going to run out, natural gas is going to run out. We're going to eventually have fuel prices are going to go up, and that's not happening. We drill for oil, we suck all the oil out, we come back 5 years later, and guess what? It's full of oil again, and we suck it out again. I mean, you got the whole peak oil. I mean, literally none of that ever happened. As much oil as we're using today, we're still have plenty of oil. And let me tell you something else. Every year the engines get more efficient. The gasoline engines get more efficient. AI is now going to make it even more efficient. AI is going to make everything we do more efficient. It's going to make our cars lighter. It's going to make our cars get better gas mileage. It's going to build better engines. It's going to do all kinds of amazing stuff that will continue to bring our need for fuel down. That's the part people don't understand. All they see is, my God, our need for gasoline, our need for fuel, our need for electricity is going to skyrocket. That's true. But what also happens along the way is every year we're buying newer cars that give better gas mileage. Every year, AI, and now we've got AI out there that's going to be reinventing everything to work on less electricity. A lot of times what we're doing, we didn't make the battery better. We have a flashlight. I have a flashlight now that I charge this flashlight up, and it'll last. I can leave it on for 24 hours. Used to be a flashlight, if you charged it up or you put batteries in it, it was good for about 30 minutes, maybe 20 or 30 minutes. Did the battery technology get better? No. We invented a light bulb that's 10 times more efficient. That's the bottom line. We invented a light bulb that is 10 times more efficient. Did battery technology get any better over the last 30 years? Yeah, a little bit. It sure did. We went from lead acid to NiCad and now we've metal halide. We're looking at all kinds of different batteries now. Now we got the bioenno stuff coming out. So yeah, battery technology has advanced, but in a very small way compared to how our usage of electricity has changed. You see what I mean? We are using a lot less electricity now. So do we have to have a bigger battery? No, because we've found a way to make light a lot more efficiently. And the same thing can be said for cars, like with electric cars. I think there is a future for electric cars. I think it was pushed a little too soon. I don't know. Everybody always is all doomsday about the AI, and it may eventually take over and kill us all, but not in my lifetime. I think it's amazing. I love it. I don't think that, and I'll tell you something else. This whole thing about kids are going to be stupid now. They're not going to learn anything. They're not going to have any creativity. They're not going to have any deep or rational thinking. They're not. I tend to disagree. AI tends to get me thinking deeper than I ever thought about things before. And I'm more creative now. I make music, I make pictures, I make videos, I do all kinds of stuff using AI. All stuff that I had in my head, but I could never produce before. Now I can produce what I want. So has it stifled my creativity? No. It unleashed my creativity. It actually took and made my creativity a hell of a lot better. I can now realize my projects or what I want to do or whatever. I can actually realize it. Where before I could just dream about it. And I was never going to be an artist because I can't paint. I was never going to be a singer because I can't sing. I was never going to be a musician because I don't play well. I'm not tone deaf. I'm about half tone deaf, and so I don't have it. I can't do it. So there was never any hope of me writing and creating my own music. There was never any hope in me making and creating my own art. There was never any hope in this until AI came along, and now we've got AI, and guess what? I can now make art. I can now make music. I can do crazy, amazing things now. It's great for everything. It's great for organizing it, but with me, I use it for organization. I use it for writing letters, organizing lists, doing my pre-show for both my shows. Yeah, I mean, I use AI quite a bit. They never did make a good printer because we don't need them anymore. I mean, we've gone past the need for printers. At my work, we still have one printer in that whole big 80,000 square foot building. I think there's one or two printers left, and we can all print to them still. But we went paperless at my work 10 years ago. They don't do anything on paper except the talent still likes to have paper when they're doing their shows a lot of times. That's true, Dispatch, but my counterpoint to that is they no longer need to know that. They no longer need to know how to write in cursive. I have been saying for many years that we've been teaching children things that they don't need to know. Times tables is a great example. I personally I've never needed my times tables. I've never needed it. I was an engineer. I used to pump fire trucks. I was a certified and qualified engineer, and I did all the calculations and everything, and I never knew how to do any of that. I was terrible at math. And so one of the things I think is the biggest problems with our school is we don't teach any of the things you need to know And we teach so many things that you don't need to know. And so I personally feel that when it comes to World War II, we need to stop learning the names of the generals. We need to stop learning the names of the towns. We need to stop learning the casualty counts and all that. None of that matters. None of that matters. What matters is, what did we learn from the war? Why did we fight the war? What changes were made after the war? These are the important things that they never teach in school. We were never taught the reason why the Civil War was fought. We weren't. We were not taught the actual reasons. And even today, I hear people spewing all kinds of nonsense about the Civil War was fought over slavery. No, it was fought over states' rights. Slavery was one of about 16 issues of the time. It was fought over states' rights. I mean, people don't understand that. And that's because it's not taught. It's not taught. Your liberal teachers in school, they teach your children that war was completely fought over slavery. And why? Why do they teach them this? Because it fits their narrative. Yeah, food preservation is important. Victor, it's still not, I haven't even started with it yet. I haven't even got to it. It's sitting over there. Yeah, laser printers are definitely the best. They were quite expensive, but today they're fairly reasonable. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys about, what used to be important, but I just don't know if it is anymore. People make a big deal about cursive writing. They won't be able to read the Constitution. Well, we've got it in print, word for word. We're pretty sure it's the same. I don't know. I think we should. My God, we put them on buses every day, and we drive them across town to school, and they go and they sit in school and they learn nothing. I know when I was in school, I sat there. I hated my life. I hated school. I hated everybody in school. I got in high school to where I didn't even like my teachers. I didn't like anybody involved. The whole thing became such a waste. My disgust for government started about 9th grade. And I started realizing, look at the money they spend on this school. And I get up at 5:30 in the morning to catch a bus at 6:15 in the morning to go to school for a 7:10 homeroom. And then I sit through 6.5 hours of schooling. And the only redeeming thing about the entire day was lunch was pretty good. My school had decent lunch. The ladies really work hard in there. They did a good job. Everybody always complained about the school food. I thought mine was pretty damn good. Of course, I like cafeteria food. Anyway, the point is I would get up every day and go to that damn school and spend all day there. And then I would get out, and by the time I got home, it was 3:30 in the afternoon. And I would sit there and evaluate what I did. I didn't learn a thing. And then they would send me home with a bunch of homework. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I never did homework. Never. Our school had a policy. They couldn't fail you just because you didn't do your homework. And I never did homework. Every night my math teacher would hand us a sheet. And the next day, they would say, okay, everybody pass forward your homework. And every day I would reach back and grab the papers behind me and hand them forward and never include my paper in it. I never turned one in the entire year. And I got like a D or a C. It didn't matter as long as I passed. Homework is disgusting. I think that when they assign homework for kids, that it's terrible. It's inhuman. All right? And I never agreed with it. I always felt like homework was just a cop out. It's like you had me in school for 7 hours and you got to send me home with 2 hours worth of homework to do at night? No, thank you. Even in elementary school, I didn't really do my homework. In middle school, I never did my homework. By ninth grade, I was vehemently opposed to homework, to the point that I actively made it known that I'm not doing it. Don't even give it to me. I'm not doing it. I was called in. My parents were called in a few times over it. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Homework is bullshit, okay? They've got you for 7 hours a day and they send you home with homework. No, not doing it. And if I had children, they wouldn't have done it. Period. I'm not doing it. And these stupid kids go home every night and do that busy work and bring it in the next day. That math teacher in 10th grade that gave us that sheet every night, he printed them on a Xerox printer out of a book of these sheets that he has, right? And he would do this for all five of, each teacher had, it was 6 hours, each teacher had 5 classes. They each had one by period a day. And of his 5 classes, he would do this every day. He would pass those sheets out. He would collect them all back up the next morning. And what I realized was he never even looked at them. He never looked at them. So I could have sat there and wasted literally 60 hours of my life doing that God bless it busy work that nobody cared about, nobody looked at, nobody learned anything from. That's just dumb. The audacity of these teachers to think that, hey, you know, I go to 7 hours of school a day and you're telling me that I need to go home and do 2 more? You know? It's like my mom would go to work at the bank. She didn't bring home homework. My dad would go to work at the plumbing company. He didn't bring home homework. They both worked 8-hour days or 9-hour days. They didn't bring home homework. Where do they get off? Where do they get off? I absolutely graduated high school. Yeah. I went to college. That was a shit show, too. I didn't do any homework there either. Not once. I even taught like the EMT refresher course and fire school, and I taught all kinds of stuff. I was a certified advanced fire instructor, and I never assigned my people homework. They came in, I taught them as hard as I could, and then when the bell rang and it was time to leave, they left. I never assigned a bit of work to them. Never. Yep, Jungle, what you find is most of the people that start big successful businesses have no college education at all. Most of the people that you find that go out and do really good in their local community don't have any college at all. And what you find is many of your people that spend many years in college are completely worthless. People that own big broadcasting companies down here, people that own big, huge corporations, people that are now public, companies that are now publicly traded, all started by people with high school diplomas. I know a company in town here that pays 200 employees, and the guy that started it and runs it and manages it today dropped out of high school in 9th grade. Your education level has nothing to do with your success in life, because you can always go back and get any education you ever find that you need, whether it's a GED high school diploma, a college degree, whether it's extension courses or CEUs or whatever you need, you can get that anytime you need it. Yep. There was very few things I learned. You know the classes I learned something in? I learned how to march in band and play an instrument, which did me nothing in life. Completely worthless skill. I still have the trumpet. It's hanging over there on the wall. But completely worthless skill. I went to graphic arts. That was amazing. I learned how to do silk screening. I learned how to do typesetting. I learned how to do all kinds of really neat stuff. Shop. I learned how to build things. I learned how to use band saws and skill saws and all kinds of different saws and in belt sanders and safety rules and goggles and that all that stuff's good. But they don't concentrate on that stuff. They don't have electric courses or mechanics courses in high school. Look, in my high school, most of these kids are idiots. You need to be teaching them something where they can make a living. You know, this is what the whole thing is. Everybody needs to prepare for college. No, they don't. 2/3 of us never even need to go to college. You don't need to go to college. Most of the really successful folks out there never did go to college. I don't think college necessarily sets you up to be a good entrepreneur. Science, I loved science. I wasn't as much on biological science as I was on earth science. I'm an earth science person. But science and graphic arts, band, I liked shop. I took 3 years of graphic arts and I took 2 years of shop. I took band. Trying to think what else I took. But those were the courses that actually mean something to me. I know how to use a saw today because of that. But they don't do enough of that. Why do we spend so much time learning shit we don't need to learn? All that math, for all those years of them trying to cram that useless mathematics down my throat, and I never needed any of it. I was never going to be an accountant. I can't even balance my own checkbook, and nor would I try. We got computers for that now. So all the 11 years, because they don't do it in my senior year, I didn't have to take math. The 11 years I took math all year. For 11 years, I took math. Okay? Never needed it, never got me anywhere. I had a friend of mine that was a math whiz. Every year it was a big deal. Oh, I got into trig. I'm going to trig next year. Oh my God, trigonometry. Okay, he's figuring out the hypotenuse of the morphoquete or what. And you know what the thing is? You know what? He became a cop. He never used any of it. Never needed it. Never used any of it. Fills out booking reports and puts people in jail. That's what he does for a living. Why did we spend all that time on something that 95% of the students will never use? This is the problem I have. School needs to be relegated to tasks that are important. One of the things that when I've been dealing with this rehab thing with families, one of the things is that's very important with rehab is getting you back to life and learning those things that exactly you need to learn. You know, learning those things that are important when you're home alone and those things that are important for your own safety. And these are all important things, okay? And I think school needs to be set up a little more like that. I think school needs to be set up with, like, we're not teaching you things that it's nice to know. We're teaching you things that you need to know, okay? They don't teach you in school how to clean a toilet. I used to get guys at the fire station, they're 19, 20, 21 years old, and I'd assign them to go clean the toilet. I'd tell them, you got bathrooms, rookie, you're doing bathrooms tonight. And I'd walk in there the next morning, and Everything's a filthy mess. And what's going on? What did you do? And you got these dumbass rookies that they would go into the kitchen and get the sponge off the sink and go wipe the urinals down and then throw the sponge back on the sink again. I mean, I saw some really stupid idiots. And they were never taught how to clean. They were never taught how to use cleaners and how to wipe away surfaces and things. They were never taught how to use a mop bucket and a wringer. I mean, these are skills that most all of us are going to need at some point in our life. Why would that not be taught? Why are we teaching things like the how things went down in Roman times? They spent months on Roman times and the Renaissance in Europe, and oh my God, we spent so much time talking about shit that I cared nothing about. Oh my God, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. There was no reason to learn about any of this stuff. And especially considering the life lessons were not part of the lesson. You would have to memorize the date and the time and the general and the town but there was never a, hey, this is why he did this, because he was betrayed by, nobody ever did that. Schools teach all the wrong things. They want trained monkeys, you're right. They want automatons that will come in and act as they're told, do what they're told, and regurgitate what they're told to regurgitate. And that's pretty much the bottom line. Yeah. They don't teach any financial literacy. When I graduated from high school, I did not know how to write a check. You would have thought in 12 years, well, 13 if you count kindergarten, you'd have think that in 13 years these people would have taught me how to write a check. Balance a checkbook. Put gasoline in a car. Do your taxes. File for insurance. I mean, there's so many things that we do in normal life that we're never taught. Yet they teach you about the God blessed Renaissance. I'm trying very hard not to use bad words. They teach you the Renaissance. They teach you the Bronze Era, for Christ's sake. Okay? For what? They should be teaching people how to go to a grocery store and make smart decisions with their money. They need to be teaching people how to hang a ceiling fan or put up a light fixture. Teach people how to change a toilet out. It's not that hard. You don't need a plumber. I mean, there's so many things they could have taught us in school that would have been good, that would have been helpful, but they don't. It's all bullshit that we don't need. As much as I love science, didn't use any of it. I did, but most of the kids didn't use any of it. History, they didn't teach the important part, and nobody gave a shit about any of it. The math, they were trying to get you up to trigonometry. Why? I don't know, considering 99.96% of all jobs do not use the math known as trigonometry. But yet, they try to teach every child trigonometry in high school. Why? Why? But we skipped how to write a check. They should bring you to a grocery store and you should have to buy on a budget. Even if it's they set up a fake grocery store with pictures or something. I don't know. Life stuff. Which character are you referring to? The host of the show? Is that the character you're referring to? This character went to school in Fort Myers, Florida, where I was born and raised. Yes. Boys and girls learn differently. That's why boys' colleges and girls' colleges, boys' grammar schools and girls' grammar schools used to do very well in the day, because girls do better when they're learning with other girls. There is some truth to that. I'm not sure if that's the way we should do it. That's for a good discussion. But it is true that when you mix boys and girls together in the same classroom, the level of learning goes down, the level of complication goes up. Yes, we had home ec, but only the girls took it. And from what I hear, it really wasn't that practical. That's another thing. I graduated 13 years of schooling and did not know how to load a washing machine or a dryer. 13 years of schooling. Never learned how to wash dishes, dry them, and put them away. 13 years of schooling. I never learned how to change the oil in my car. What are we doing? What are we doing? You should be able to switch a light switch, take a light switch out of your wall and replace it with another one. That should have been taught in school. People call people to come help them with things that they don't know how to do. That should have been taught in school. And this is the kind of stuff I don't understand why we teach literally 13 years of useless information and we don't teach the basics. We just don't teach life basics at all. Jungle, you're absolutely correct. We need a lot more vocational education. That is absolutely true. Yeah. I'm surprised the number of people that graduate 13 years of high school and they can't change the tire on their car. 13 years of high school, they can't use a set of jumper cables. What are we doing? We're wasting all that money to teach them things they don't need to know. Spelling. Do you know how many hours was spent on spelling? And we have spell check now. It was all a complete and total waste of time. The first computers with spell check were introduced in the late 80s. So when I was graduating high school in 88, we already had the first spell checking business machines coming out. And I had just completed 13 years of every single week having a spelling test to learn how to spell words that in the future I would not need to know how to spell. Learning math. That I've now been in the business world for 30-something years and never used any of it. All that history that they taught us, none of it's ever been useful to me. Because they didn't ever teach the why. They taught the who, the what, the when, the where. And then when it came to the why, we tiptoe around that because that's, a little controversial or whatever. That's funny, Dispatch. Little play on words there. Yes, deploribus. When they built the Lehigh, the big Lehigh High School, the new one in Lehigh, the second one out there, I forget what it's called. It's got an auto shop, and they're actually going to have auto shop classes where the kids will bring in cars and they'll change the starters out and rebuild the motors and stuff. That is what it should be. That's good. That's good, Victor. Yes, FFA is an amazing extracurricular. It is. And there's other ones too, but FAA is really good. That's FFA, for those that don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Future Farmers of America, if I'm correct. And that was an extracurricular down here, but they put on the fair every year, man. That was a big deal. Our FAA, that we had FFA in almost every high school. I think in every high school they wore the purple jackets, and I thought they were cool. I had several friends that lived out on farms that were in the FFA, and they raised pigs, and they put them into the in the fair every year and see who could raise the biggest pig or whatever. I used to love that kind of stuff. That's the kind of practical education that we're lacking in the regular schooling. You have to get that kind of stuff in scouting or in FFA or in other things like that, because you're not going to get it in the core curriculum of the school. And that's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. The core curriculum of the school should be things that you need to live your life. The reason that kids nowadays, they're 25 years old and they live up to here with garbage in their house. They were never even taught or any discipline at all. They don't know any discipline at all. They don't even take the garbage out to the outside of the house and then eventually to the street. They don't even know what to do with it. And it's 50% education and it's 50% discipline. They're not getting either one. They're not getting any practical education, and nowadays they don't seem to be getting much in the way of discipline either. Well, not all the skills were good, but that's okay. I guess it is good to know which ones are poison and which ones are trippy. But yeah, so that's always been my big thing with schooling is I don't agree with public schooling the way it is at all. I think we're wasting children's time. I do. I think putting them on a bus every day and sending them to school, by the time you get the bus rides on both ends and everything, they're spending 8 or 8.5 hours a day on this school day, and they're not learning anything. And then they send them home with homework, and they're not learning anything from that if they're even doing it. And so what's the end goal here? We're literally just churning out bread is all we're doing here. Well, we got to teach them something, so we're just going to teach them something. And that's really how it seems. I would love to be able to sit down and use AI to help me come up with a really cool curriculum, because I honestly think I could come up with a damn good curriculum. It would be immensely practical. Because I think that's what we're missing with all these curriculums nowadays, is there's just nothing practical about it at all. It's all things, they just teach things just because they need to teach something. Well, we got to teach something. And I almost think these people sit down, they're like, hey, we've got to make up a curriculum for the whole year. 6 classes for the whole year, and then we got to do that 13 times. That's a lot. So what they do is they got to come up with stuff to teach the kids. And that's literally, we're filling time with shit that they don't need to know. All that time needs to be used for practical things. Literally for practical things. I know it sounds stupid, but think about it. I would rather you teach them how to clear a jam on a Xerox machine, okay? I would much rather you teach them how to clear a jam on a Xerox machine than let them sit there for an hour and learn about Julius Caesar and the Bronze Age or something. You know what I mean? Yes. CPR should be taught every year in every class. First aid, either the American Heart or the American Red Cross, should be taught every single year. They should learn how to dress wounds. They should learn how to deal with emergencies. They should learn about active shooter situations. They should learn about fires. They should learn about emergencies. They should learn about dealing with things. They should learn about, okay, they should learn critical thinking. Put two of them in a car and tell them, this car's now fallen off a cliff, it's stuck in ice, and you can't get out. What are you going to do? I mean, literally, make them think. Make them come up with it. You know, when I was in school, I qualified for this program called Major Work Area. It was I don't want to call it a gifted thing. It was actually it was a thing for children that had gifted minds in some way, like people that deep thinking type kids. And I was in that for years. And one day every 2 weeks, they would take us out of the school, and we would go places and we would do crazy things. And then they would always have us fill out all these forms afterwards. It was some kind of government head control thing, I'm thinking, but it was cool, man. I got to visit. We went to the power company. We went to the Humane Society. We went to the water plant. We went to we went to every cool place there was if you're into science. And that was probably the most practical thing I did, and that was for me. It was, most of the kids didn't get to do it. It was only a few kids that they thought were the deep thinkers that actually got to qualify for this program. And so most of the kids got to sit there all day long and do meaningless horse shit. Every 2 weeks, I actually had a day where I got to go out and do something else. So that was nice. So anyway, the bottom line is the best way that we can, just like with electricity, this brings me all the way back. Trey would be proud of me right now. This brings me all the way back to the beginning of my conversation. Okay? Instead of creating a better battery, we created a more efficient light bulb. And the same thing with schools. We could take the time that we have these kids in school and make that time so much more valuable by honing in on all the things that that child needs to know in life, and by erasing all the stuff that they don't need to know in life. Okay? Quit teaching them about the Bronze Age. Quit teaching them about the Pleistocene period or whatever. Quit, just stop. Just stop. Nobody needs to know about any of that shit. What they need to know is how to change their tire when it goes flat in their car. That's what they need to know. When they open up that box of IKEA furniture, they need to be able to figure out how to put it together, because that's the future of furniture. Homeschool kids, you're deploribus. You're right. My good friend and co-producer of my show and call screener is a homeschooler. One of the smarter people I know. What you'll find is that children that were homeschooled properly, they're in the top 10% of the society when it comes to deep thinking, and when it comes to general knowledge, being worldly, things like that. And your people that go to public school, unfortunately, they show the lowest on that, and it's just unfortunate. Yeah, and homeschool kids, you're right. 2 or 3 hours of intense work, and they're done for the day, and they move on to the next thing, and it's over. You know, it doesn't need to be all that. It just doesn't. All right, so where are we at, guys? I'm over by 43 minutes, so you guys got your money's worth tonight out of me. That's all right. I love doing it. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I am going to go ahead and sign off here briefly, and go get some sleep. But it's been fun. I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation tonight. Yeah, teachers that go off script, teachers that tend to teach out of the box, teachers that tend to go off the teacher's manual, they do the best job. They do the absolute best job teaching. I had some good teachers, and they were the ones that weren't doing it by the book. Lear. Lears me a lot. There you go. Yep. Liberal tax dollars well spent. It's the Leering Center. All right, everybody. Last call for anything in the chat room. I'll respond real quick, and then I'm going to be signing out. It has been a long day. I got the studio back up and running, though. I still can't quite get all the cameras to come up at one time. I don't know. And that other one's got artifact in it now, and I don't know what's up with that. So, I have an issue with these cameras, and it has something to do with, when you get too many of the same kind of camera plugged in or something. But anyway, all right, yeah, here's my studio. I broadcast live from my backyard studio here in North Fort Myers, Florida. I'm about 12 or 13 miles from the coast here. This structure survived Category 5 Hurricane Ian. I had these big trucker straps all the way around it, and the two windows were boarded, and it survived. It did good. My neighbor's roof struck my tower on the side directly and bent the tower over the top of the shed, and the shed did good. So, this is my my home studio here behind my home. I built this. It's taken me 6 years to build the channel and the studio, and I do what I do on here, and I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I'm on every night at 9 p.m., and we do the same thing, a multi-screen news show every night. Last night we covered the parade in downtown Fort Myers. Sometimes I'm on location, sometimes I do different things, so it all just depends on the situation and what's going on. All right, everybody, it's been fun. I'll play you a song to get you out, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night back here. My name's Ian. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth, broadcasting from Starship Studios in North Fort Myers. My name is Ian, and we'll hope to see you. I think I've said that like 3 times now, but anyway, you know who I am. We'll see you guys tomorrow night back here, 9 p.m. on the Sights and Sounds of Earth on Starship Adventures. So we'll see you then. Let me go ahead and get us out of here. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's just get out of here. Time to go. Time to go. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Everybody have a good night out there.
Listen up, patriots from the mountains to the shore. This is a story of a man who settled the score. Donald Trump, the warrior, standing tall against the red, fighting communism's grip, keeping freedom ahead. He took a bullet for us, fist raised in the fight. Liberals hate him fierce, cause he's always right. Successful and strong, handling storms like a boss, kicking socialism's tail. America's gained their loss. He raised that mighty wall, 400 miles of steel, kept the invaders out, made the border real, 7 million jobs blooming like fields in the spring. Unemployment crushed low, hear the workers sing. Tax cuts for the folks, no more chains on your pay, tips and overtime free, lighting up the way, energy flowing free, drilling deep in the ground, affordable fuel for all, turning greens upside down. Donald Trump, crushing a communist snake, making America great. For heaven's sake, he took a bullet for freedom. says mission launching. Cancer's getting slayed, trade deals locked tight, tariffs hitting them square. No more endless wars, peace filling the air. Syria chains broken, freedom ringing out loud. Global alliance is strong, making tyrants bow. Western shield solid, security's the key. No room for socialists in this land of the free. Oh, Donald Trump crushing the communist snake, making America great. For heaven's sake, he took a bullet for freedom, stood up from the dirt. Liberals see them squirm cause it hurts. He's right, he's winning, handling every blow. From riots to fraud, putting on the show. God bless the USA, land of the brave and true. Trump's our guardian, red, white, and blue. In Minnesota, shadows, fraud running deep and wide. Somali schemes stealing billions, no place to hide. Tampon Tim dancing blind, letting crooks run the game, but Trump's calling them out, lighting justice's flame. Fake meals for ghosts, daycare doors bolted shut, healthcare highs bleeding us. Enough's enough, protests gone wild, anti-law fools in the street, banging pipes like cowards, facing defeat. You better snag that Nobel for peace, he's the man, bringing freedom worldwide, crushing tyrants' plan. From Iran's dark storms to borders under siege, Trump's kicking tail hard, turning page after page. Liberals despise him, cause he's spot on and bold, successful as thunder, breaking their hold, handling every curveball from fraud to the fight. Patriot hate thunder, lighting up the night. Dems crumbling fast, losing the working man's trust. High prices tumbling, their dreams turn to dust. Genesis, health reforms, chronic ills on the run. Toxic dyes banished, victories one by one. No kings, hypocrites, cheering dictators' chains. Gays back in Hamas, twisted insane. Trump exposes the right, makes them look like the fools, fighting socialism's grip with unbreakable tools. Oh, Donald Trump crushing the communist snake, making America great. For heaven's sake, he took a bullet for freedom, stood up from the dirt. Liberals see them squirm cause it hurts. He's right, he's winning, handling every blow. From riots to fraud, putting on the show. God bless the USA, land of the brave and true. Trump's our guardian, red, white, and blue. Yeah, red, white, and blue. Forever true.
All right, everybody, it's been my pleasure to be your host tonight on the Sights and Sounds of Earth here on Starship Adventures. Join us every night right here at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another trip around the world on the Sights and Sounds of Earth. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight, and thank you, everybody that chatted, for making it a great discussion. And a special thanks to all my moderators out there that make the experience great for everybody. All right, everybody, it's time. This concludes our broadcast day here on Starship Adventures. Everybody have a great night out there, a safe tomorrow. 7 3s. Kilo Oscar 4, Echo, Foxtrot Sierra, clear frequency. Good night, everybody.